PokeRamble Podcast.
Pokemon Masters 2.5 year anniversary is among us, and we're here to break it all down for you. Yes, welcome to episode 54 of the PokeRamble Podcast. I'm your host Kamal, and joining me this week to break down all the Pokemon Masters news is the one, the only, Mecha Shadow 12.
Thanks for having me back, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's always good to have you here for these Pokemon Masters centric episodes, and I can't think of a better person to do it with. Mecha Shadow 12. Mecha Shadow 12. That's
me.
Episode Psyduck, in fact. So, kicking off this episode with Psyduck, I just wanted to know, have you got any memories of Psyduck or anything you like about Psyduck? What is Psyduck to you?
Interestingly enough, I never really used Psyduck in the games because in the anime they paint Psyduck in such a negative light. Like it's like this Pokemon that's really strong, but it's always in pain and it's always, causing a bunch of mischief and stuff, not listening to Misty and everything like that. So I never really used Psyduck. It wasn't until coming back into Pokemon and like watching a bunch of Pokemon challenge videos and like speed runs where like they show off how good like Golduck can be that I actually started using Psyduck and eventually getting a Golduck.
Oh, cool. No, Psyduck to me, I love Psyduck because he's the cute, confused duck you see in front of you. Obviously, we talked about the anime. I like him in the anime because, or like it in the anime because it provides comedy relief. It's just there for a funny joke or a funny pun or something along those lines. But actually, Psyduck is a special Pokemon to me because it was actually my first shiny in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which you're playing at the moment, right?
Yes, I am, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I was just walking along the route, and it was just I wasn't even hunting for it. It was just there. I was like, oh, awesome! And it's got a nice bubblegum blue sort of shade to it. So yeah, I do like me some Psyduck, and I think Masuda, the director of the Pokemon games, or at least the last few, his favorite Pokemon is also Psyduck. Fun fact. But yeah, that's
cool.
episode Psyduck. Everything else going all right with you before we get into the master stuff?
Everything's going well. I'm currently, playing on the newest TCG, Brilliant Stars. Posted my findings.
Any highlights from that or?
Oh yes. So I actually pulled the Umbreon V alt art with like Karen sitting on a bench and then Umbreon there. And then my fiance yesterday just pulled the Arceus V Star, one of the V Stars that are part of the set, which she was super happy about.
That's awesome. I really like some of the cards in that set because of the trainers that are alongside the Pokemon. We obviously know about the Japanese set that half of the set is based on, but yeah, no, I love that set for that reason. And I got a Glaceon booster pack, which was like Glaceon promo with 3 other packs. I didn't get anything that good. I got an Entei out of it, so that was pretty cool. But I mainly got it for the Glaceon because Glaceon's one of my favorite Pokemon. So yeah, I spent about £10 on it. So yeah, no, cool set.
They actually came out with a Glaceon V-Star box.
Yeah, I got that as well.
Okay, I was gonna say definitely pick that up if you haven't.
So yeah, no, cool. So you've been getting some TCG stuff. I've been doing Pokemon related recently, but apart from breeding your Pokemon for your replay of was it Sword or Shield?
Shield.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is that like right now I just got my 4th badge in Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I'm about to go to the top of Lavender Tower. And it's interesting because I did play a little bit of Pokemon Shield.
Yeah.
To just level up my Pokemon so when I do start it officially, I'll be able to just jump right in.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I kind of want to just keep playing Shield, but I was like, let me just finish Let's Go Eevee.
Yeah.
That way I can just complete it and finish it off.
That's fair. And that overpowered Eevee. Let's not talk about that overpowered Eevee.
Well, one thing I also learned and I forgot about is that you can play it 2 players, so you can always do 2-on-1
Ah,
battles.
yeah. You can also like get a better catch chance if you have two people.
Mhm.
That is quite interesting. But yeah, I think we shall move on to our main topic of the show and everybody's favorite. So you want to be a Pokemon Masters, yeah, that section of the show. So Mecha, we've had a whole ton of stuff in Pokemon Masters recently. Like loads of events between the old Kanto events that are spilling over, and we've got these throwback challenge events at the moment, and we've got lots of new sync pairs, and we've got the Pass Your Anniversary event. There's a lot going on at the moment.
It's interesting because I feel like every time I'm on the show, I always say this is the best time to get into Pokemon Masters, but like they keep one-upping themselves over and over again. It's
Yeah.
really refreshing to see a developer who listens to the fans, obviously not 100%, but listens to the fans, um, and is also making content for both new players and existing players at the same time. Usually
Yeah.
it's either one or the other.
To that effect, actually, my best friend in real life, he just recently picked up Pokemon Masters, a couple of weeks ago, and whilst some of the throwback challenges have been a bit tough for him, like the ones against Cynthia and whatnot,
Oh yeah,
he's
of course.
he's actually managed to actually complete a round 2 against Cynthia because of
Oh.
how they set up legendary events so you can get Mewtwo quite early on. And
Mhm.
some of his general units he's got from ticket scouts. For example, he got Bianca, so with the right strategy, he was able to take out round 2, even though he was only a couple of weeks old. So you're completely right in saying this is a good time to get into the game because you're getting a lot to start off
Yeah.
with. But I thought where we should start with the 2.5 year anniversary is actually let's talk about the sync pairs that have sort of been brought into the game. And on screen at the moment, I've got May, Raihan, and Skyla on the screen. I was sort of wondering, what were your initial thoughts when you saw these sync pairs? Just without sort of the sync grids and stuff like that. What did you think about these sync pairs for the
Well,
anniversary?
I'm a big fan of Skyla.
Yeah.
Literally, this game has made me love Skyla a lot. Like I legit really want to get her actual card from the TCG.
I'm, I,
Like
I
that's how
I don't want to get into a
good.
tangent, but who else do you like in terms of characters that this game has made you
In terms of
like?
well, let's say I already liked Raihan, so that's already up there. From because I did play Shield.
Mm,
Um, it made me like a lot. Like I said, this game has made me like a lot of the characters. But like I said, I
mm,
love Rosa now.
yeah,
Um, I think she's really cool. Um, like characters like Serena. I mean, it's like obviously they're tied to pairs that I use in the game,
yeah,
but like it's like I would never have thought I'd love a flying user because I was never big into flying types when I was playing Pokemon.
yeah. I actually have got so Kotobukiya is a company in Japan that make figures and stuff like that. And actually, I ended up buying a Skyla and Swanna figure because of just like Pokemon Masters, getting attached to that
Mhm.
sync pair. I ended up just buying a figure of them. Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. But sorry, I detracted. So yeah, what were your initial thoughts on these anniversary sync pairs?
Well, I remember we were having a discussion about what we thought the 2.5 anniversary pairs would be, and I
Mm,
made the joke that it's probably going to be a bunch of different type users, type like moves, fields, and stuff like that.
oh
Like
yeah,
that was the
zones.
joke. I was like, oh, we're gonna have like a bug zone.
Yeah,
And even though that was a joke, it turned out to be kind of true because all these units, they have zones. Now I
apart from
won't get into
Rayhan,
that right
who's like
now.
more weather based, but yeah.
Yeah, weather, exactly. But it's like I thought it was cool because, like I said, me, as I always say, I like representation, especially for minority characters, like a Raihan there. So I would love to see another Raihan there or another, a minority character set up like that. Um, I love May. May is awesome, obviously, when it came to her pair with Swampert,
Mm,
with her and everything like that. And then, like I said before, I love Skyla. So I was like, oh, cool. I like all these characters a lot. Now that was before learning about their grids or anything like that. So first impressions, I thought it was cool,
Mm.
but I kind of on the same point. I kind of wanted somebody new.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
Hugh, who was like the Gen 5, rival for Black and White 2, he was in the trailer for Pokemon Masters, which is like 2.5 years ago. We still haven't seen him at all.
oh,
Yeah. No, so it's quite funny in that aspect that we still don't have him in the game. And I kind of share your sentiment where I finally wanted a Johto unit, another Johto unit, but we still don't have another Johto unit. We don't have a Master Fair Johto unit. We don't have another Pokefair Johto unit, so I was a bit disappointed in that aspect. But what did you think of their outfits? Because like initial impressions for me, like seeing Raihan, sorry, I say Raihan because of the damn trailer. Sorry, Raihan, and his outfit. I thought he looked bloody dapper, so that was awesome. May
oh
also
yeah, they
liked,
all look good.
yeah. Go on.
No, like I said, they all look good. Like
Yeah.
Rayhan looks. I mean, like I said, anyone who wears a long sleeve with the vest automatically 10 out of 10 outfit right there. Skyla looks amazing with her dress, and I love that. When we'll get it a little bit more into it in a little bit. But when she does the mega, she has the purple dress.
Yeah.
So like I think that looks amazing on her. And
Mm,
then May always looks great. She
mm,
has a little her outfit, she has a little thing on her arm with the little like cloud and everything like that, which looks really cool.
yeah.
Um so overall, like I said, they look like anniversary outfits. Whenever anytime we would get the previous anniversary outfits, like we got for Anne and Steven, like they're more dressed up. They're more like formal outfits, which looks really cool in the setting.
Yeah. No, I like how Rayhan's glasses mimics Flygon. Obviously May she's got like a little hairpiece to represent Mega, the Mega form of Latias, and obviously Skylar wearing like a more Korean outfit, but from a different sort of like part of the world where that is former attire. That looks really cool as well. So yeah, I agree. My initial impressions of these units were like, because May, they said that she was gonna have um Psychic Wish. I was like, oh my god, are we gonna get Psychic Terrain and a Zone, and are they gonna stack? But obviously no. We know now that they don't stack. But I thought, oh my god, she's gonna be a really good unit to like, you know, not restrict us to only being able to use one of Lusamine or one of Mewtwo. You can have two zones or two terrains for two sets of teams. So I thought that was really cool. And like Skyla, like you said, like I really like Skyla, and I really like Tornadus because it's a Pokemon that I used to use a lot in rain teams in Gen 6. So I thought them
Mhm.
two being together, I was like, yeah, I can't believe we're gonna get that sync pair. My only disappointment was with Rayhan is just like finding out that he was a dragon type sync pair and not a ground type sync pair. I was just like, come on, man. Like again, another dragon type, and like obviously with May as well, like as much as like May and Latias, and like we saw them in like the Oras trailer a long time ago. I kind of didn't want another dragon type or a psychic type. Sorry, I didn't want both of them really in terms of their typings. I wanted more unique typings that we're struggling with at the moment, like more maybe like ground types or more like bug types or even a normal type. But yeah, first impressions. I like the sync pairs we got, but I did kind of wish that we would get someone from Johto or like you said, someone new. But yeah, that's it really. Should we go into each sync pair individually?
Yeah, that way we can just talk about it more as a whole because I do have a theory about May especially.
Okay, let's start off
Um,
with May then. So why don't you call out the moves and the sort of like passives they've got?
Gotcha. All right. So as we know, May is psychic. When she sinks, it becomes Mega Latias.
Hmm.
And we'll start with the moves. So we have Mistball, which is psychic type. Special attack has a chance 50% of lowering the target's special attack by one stat rank.
Hmm.
MP is that's not any MP one. And the cost is 3 bars
Hmm.
there, which is pretty good. I mean, obviously it's standard attack, and the rest of her moves are all trainer moves. We have Psychic Wish, which is the big one. Turns the terrain into Psychic Terrain.
Hmm.
That's a cost of 2. We have X Special Attack All, raises the special attack of all allied sync pairs by 2 stat ranks. You get 2 uses of that. And then you have Best Friends, applies the move gauge acceleration effect to the allied field of play, raises the user's defense and special defense by 2 rank, raises the user's critical hit rate by 3 stat ranks, so you can only use that once. Now, the actual sync move, Friendship Forging Mistball. Like I said before, it becomes Mega Latias until the end of the battle. The more the target's special attack is lowered, the greater the power of this move. And then we'll go into the actual passive skills. You have Added Insult. The more the target's special attack and special defense are lowered, the more it powers up the user's moves. Psychic Freebie 9 applies a free mood next effect to the user when its attack move is successful, while the terrain is psychic terrain. And the last one is Honor Roll 1, raises the chance of lowering stat values with the additional effects of moves.
So yeah, May, with her moves and her skills, a very, very, nice synergized unit in the fact that obviously you always want to have psychic terrain up in a psychic team, or even by herself, because she's got that benefit from her passives that she never uses anything from the move gauge. All her moves are free, so that's awesome. In terms of her sync, asking you to lower the special attack of the pair you're attacking. Mistball can do that with Honor Roll 1, making it a guaranteed chance of lowering their moves, so that's pretty good. And the trainer move, making her crit, max in one turn, and being able to have move gauge acceleration for the other sync pairs that you might be using is really neat. So yeah, I think she's got quite a nice kit altogether. And obviously when she becomes Mega, she gets unexpected benefit, which basically makes Mistball reduce the opponent's special attack by 2 stages instead of just 1 stage. So that's pretty nice kit all around, I'd say. What do you think?
Like I said, it's a solid kit. The theory that I have with May is that the next time we have one of those legendary gauntlets, it's gonna be a psychic one. Because now that we have, like you said yourself, we're gonna have 2 pairs that can do psychic terrain. It's gonna make a lot of sense where we're gonna need as many psychic Pokemon as possible. That's my theory.
I was thinking even for like Champion Stadium itself, though, like so we've got Bianca already who uses a psychic terrain, but having like another psychic terrain allows you to use another team of like overpowered psychic users like Giovanni and May and like Bianca and Lusamine together. So you're going to be able to like off type stages quite easily with these overpowered teams, and May just contributes to that. And she's no slouch herself. I'll talk about the sort of things or the notes I've got down for her. So like we said already, allows you to have a second overpowered team, viable for like a 2-striker setup or a 3-striker setup because of the no gauge requirement for Mistball, and that does a lot of damage on its own. 100 base power 115. Mistball special attack drops means that she's boosting her own sync damage and enables devastation users to do more damage. So devastation is where you do more damage based on how much special attack you've dropped of the opponent. Great DPS, again, it's free in terrain, and also the terrain boosts the damage of your Mistball by 50%, so that it's doing a lot of damage. And yeah, her sync nuke is very easy to set up, just because your sync nuke is basically relying on you to reduce the special attack of the opponent, which Mistball does automatically for you. So she's quite good. In terms of damage, she does a lot of DPS. She's just behind Lusamine, Lear, and Giovanni in that order. So she does quite similar damage to Giovanni, actually. So she does a lot of damage. And she's got the second strongest psychic nuke, which is behind Lear. But Lear does about, I think, 1.5 million more than she does. In terms of the teams that you want to put her on, obviously psychic teams, or you can build a team around May herself, because May can carry herself. She does a lot of damage by herself. So yeah, that's the kind of team that you want to put her on. In terms of her grid on screen, I've got a grid at the moment, so I should share my screen with you, shouldn't I? Sorry, Mega. 1 second.
Oh no, I have a
Oh,
screen
you've
set
got
up.
so
Sync. Yeah.
basically at 3 out of 5, I've put both sync nodes on for plus 50 sync move. Dismay 2, which lowers the special attack every time you go into battle, so it kind of helps you already have a head start of lowering the opponent's special attack. And then with Devastation, which does more special attack, which does more damage the more the user's the opponent's special attack is lowered. And Overpower, which powers up your move the more the target's special attack is lowered. So I've got those selected, and also I've got Catalyst selected, which gives you move gauge acceleration when you use your sync move, which means if you've got a 4-bar user or a 3-bar user alongside you, they can continue to spam moves.
Yeah, they can just keep spamming.
Yeah, which without much worry. So that's the kind of 3-bar. 3 out of 5 sync grid I've gone for that. You can also go for like something like Smarty Pants and Brain Teaser, where if you bring someone like Palantine's Dawn, or if you're using Giovanni's Psychic to lower the opponent's special defense, that can do a lot more damage on that aspect. But it's not as easy to set up as the Devastation and Overpower grid over there. You've got Super Sinker, but I don't think that you'd use that. It applies super effective up next the first time you use your sync move, but I don't think that's going to really do much for you over a Devastation or Overpower would. If we look
Definitely not.
Yeah, if we look at like 1 out of 5, there's not much there apart from Stalwart or Dauntless, which is probably good for, like you were saying, Legendary Gauntlet, where the bosses tend to debuff you, so that can prevent that from happening. You've got Miss Ball, Move Gauge Refresh, and Trainer Move Refresh. I guess the Trainer Move Refresh is kind of useful for Move Gauge acceleration and those defense and special defense boosts for your team, but not necessary. And I don't think Miss Ball Move Gauge Refresh is good at all, because you're already getting it for free anyway from.
Yeah, so you don't really need it.
No. And at 2 out of 5, for example, the only thing that's really useful here is like Catalyst, which is like that move gauge acceleration from syncing, but apart from that I don't think there's much. So I think for her full kit 3 out of 5 is probably what you want. But yeah, she's useful at 1 out of 5, but yeah, she's going to do obviously the most at 3 out of 5 with the sync nuke. 1 out of 5 she's going to be more of a support unit in your team. 3 out of 5 she's going to be like the crown jewel essentially in your team.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing that's always been interesting, especially with when newer pairs come. It's like if you're lucky enough to get them in a poll, you can use them right away. You don't have to. Obviously, you would level them up and everything, but you can use them right away and not have to worry about powering them up. But if you want like the best scenario for that sync pair, you either have to either get lucky or you save up all your sync candies.
Yeah.
All those things like that. So it's always interesting because like when it comes to all these pairs, they're all good for that type because they have that zone that sets up everything.
Yeah, and that's
So
why I
like,
think at 1 out of 5 she's quite useful anyway, because of Psychic Wish. And like
exactly.
with her trainer move of Best Friends, she's just free DPS in any Psychic team you have. So yeah, at 1 out of 5 she's still very, very good, I'd say. But yeah, not gonna be the main unit of that team.
Exactly.
I think in terms of whether or not you should pull for her, it kind of depends. I mean, like ideally, you do want another Psychic Terrain user to use for your rosters in general. But if you don't have that many gems at the moment, I think you should kind of maybe skip for now. And if you have Bianca already, then stick with Bianca and maybe wait till May comes back to roll for her. And obviously, if you really like May in general, then yeah, go for her, because she's quite a good unit and she's definitely going to be useful. But yeah, if you haven't got many gems at the moment, I'd probably say wait, because Bianca's already good by herself in terms of Psychic Terrain, and also Bianca can do a lot of damage. Maybe not as much as May can, but she can do a lot of damage as well. So
yeah, power.
Yeah.
Heals in the Psychic Terrain as well. So I actually use Bianca as a tank. So like it's pretty much the way I always see with Pokemon Masters in general is me personally, I always pull for either big events in the game or Champion Stadium sync pairs. That's usually what I pull for. So I always try to pull for the strongest or some of the more meta characters, that kind of stuff. But
Mm,
also, if you have a decent amount of gems and you like the character, pull for the character. Because I
mm,
mean that shows support for the character as well,
yeah.
to the developers and stuff. It's like, hey, so many people are pulling on May compared to, Skyla. Maybe we'll do another May and
Well, you
have
get
the
to that
year.
situation where everybody starts groaning at seeing Leon everywhere, So
I
yeah,
mean, yes, as well,
yeah,
obviously, but it's like we the thing with gotcha games as a whole, and a lot of people, see it one way, and other people see it another way.
yeah.
It's like, hey, pull for the pairs that you want, but also pull for the pairs that you want.
Mm,
It's like it sometimes, it's like, hey, I really like Leon, so I've pulled on every Leon, even
yeah.
though I probably didn't have to pull on all
No,
of them.
but it's lucky for you that every Leon that's been introduced has been very good anyway. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I've lucked out as well on that. It's like I definitely for the ice Leon stuff, I didn't have to pull on it
no,
because I already
definitely,
had
yeah.
I already had
Ghetsis,
Steven.
yeah.
So it's like, but I did anyway.
No, and I kind of want I want to save up for him next winter because I really do want him. So yeah. So I'm gonna say this 3 more times in this video probably, but these banners run till the end of the month, so you can afford to wait and see what is coming up to make your decision. So you don't need it desperately at the moment. So maybe wait till the end of the month and see where you are, and if you think you can afford it, then yeah, go for it. Okay, Mecha, we'll start with Sky. Well, we'll continue with Skyla and Tornadus Therian form. What's the moves and the passives?
All right, so we got Air Cutter. Critical hits land more easily.
Mm-hmm.
That is a cost of 2 special attack. We got Flying Wish. Changes the zone to a flying zone. A flying zone powers up flying type attacks. You got a cost of 2. You get 2 uses. Mini Potion All, which is actually apparently some people love Mini Potion All, some people don't, which is something I've learned. Um, Restores the HP of all allied sync pairs by approximately 20% of their maximum HP. That's all allies, and it uses a 2 and ready for takeoff. Raises the user's special attack and critical hit by 1 stat rank. Raises the speed of all allied sync pairs by 2 stat rank, and you get 2 uses of that.
Hmm.
All allies. You get a sync move. Their Heart Soaring Hurricane. It's a flying type sync move, special attack, and this move's power increases when the zone is flying zone. It targets one opponent. When it comes to passives, you got Staggering 2 has a chance, 30% of making the target flinch when the user's attack move against it is successful. You have Gobsmack 2 has a chance, 30% of leaving the target confused when the user's attack move against it is successful. And Aerial Acceleration 3 quickly charges the move gauge when the zone is flying.
Nice, and the stats are pretty high as well. I mean, you know, 463 special attack, 395 speed. Quite incredible, really. Very, very strong, and like at max potential. She's got 500 special attack and like 430 speed. Yeah, she's got a lot of nice stats on her. But yeah, in terms of the moves, I mean, not much DPS when it comes to Air Cutter, unfortunately. But saying that, having Staggering 2 and Gobsmack 2 makes up for the low DPS she has. In terms of a trainer move, obviously you got 2 uses, so you can get her to +2 crit, +2 speed, and +4 speed for you and actually your sync pairs around you. So that's pretty cool in terms of the speed aspect of it. Yeah, so low DPS, but actually with Flying Zone and with Air Cutter, she's a tech unit, a proper tech unit. And when I say that, she's very disruptive. She's going to be, making sure those other sync pairs are not going to be able to move as much, or their attacks are not going to be able to hit you as much because they're confusing themselves. So in that aspect, I really like her kit. She's not a tech unit that's, like May, that's there to do masses of damage. She's more there to, be more of a support for your other teammates, and yeah. So what do you think?
Well, like I said, I think she's great. And it's just like you said, She's there to disrupt the teams. Like if you can flinch and also confuse at the same time, the less times you can get hit, especially when it comes to these legendary gauntlets or when it comes to um, master mode for Champion Stadium,
Mm.
um, the better because at those higher levels, those those sync pairs hit you hard, and the less you can have that happening, the better.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, like the amount of times that you've taken out the middle boss in Champion Stadium just for the sides to use AOE moves and like destroy your sync pairs,
Mm,
it's heartbreaking. So her being able to potentially stagger them or confuse them to stop them hitting you is actually a big boon. And I think the notes I've got here is obviously she takes flying pairs to a whole new level with Flying Wish, where all your sync pairs are going to be doing plus 50% of what they normally do. So like sync pairs like Blue, for example, are given a huge buff thanks to Skyla, and she fits in quite well in being able to, raise this speed. Or like for Blue, for example, in his grid, he's got Harry on there that relies on the opponents being flinched, and she can do that quite easily for you. So she's quite good for that. I've put here, air cutter spam enables flinch and confuse. Good for pairs of Harry and grid or rely on like effects like confuse to enable multipliers. Good for legendary battles in Champion Stadium. Basically 50% confuse or 45% flinch in the grid. So that's pretty cool. Mini potion, at first when I saw mini potion, I was like, why couldn't you just give it Hurricane? But obviously they've made it into like a pure tech unit. And mini potion actually is pretty good when when you've got like another support or like you're being blasted with AoE moves like Cynthia does in one of the battles we've got up at the moment. She can actually be a tank as well because of barrel roll 2 in her grid. So you can actually use her in like a capacity of like a two striker build with her being the tank in the team. She's got a high sync nuke basically, and it's quite easily achievable because all you have to do is raise your speed, which she can get to +4 or +6 with a refresh. And yeah,
yeah.
you can use her as a debuffer if you choose the right grid. So disarm 9, which lowers attack and special attack for opponents. Pretty cool. Damage wise, not really that good because air cutter basically, and it's AoE, so it lowers the damage per unit on the field, so you're not going to be doing that much DPS with her. But her sync nuke is top 10 in the game, and in terms of flying units, she blows other flying units out of the water with her sync nuke. So
She
yeah,
blows it out of the water.
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's her really. I mean, on screen I've kind of put like her sync nuke build, which is air cutter staggering 1, making them flinch more often. Inertia, which is obviously one of the biggest things you want for your sync nuke. Both sync nuke nodes up, so +50. Interference sync, so powers up the sync move when opponents flinching, confused, or trapped. So you're going to get that quite easily with air cutter. And then I've put air cutter disarm 9. But obviously you can actually just remove that and actually go towards a team sharp entry build instead if you wanted to, which I've got on my Skyla. But let's see her at 1 out of 5. She's got absolutely nothing at 1 out of 5. So at 1 out of 5 you're basically going to be using her for Flying Wish and lucky staggers and confuses with air cutter, which is not a bad thing because she's still pretty good with ready for takeoff and help. Like a lot of sync pairs want speed, so she can provide that. At 2 out of 5 she gets air cutter move gauge refresh 9, so you can do more spams. Team sharp entry at 1, which I highly recommend because she raises her own crit rate by 1 and everyone else in the team by 1, so you can focus less on buffing them and more on attacking. Air cutter gobsmack, so increases the chance of confusion, which is going to be basically 50%. And trainer move refresh, so that's pretty good. So at 2 of 5 she's pretty good, but still not not brilliant. But yeah, 3 out of 5 if you want sync nukes, that's where you want to be at with her, but still useful at 1 out of 5, I'd say. What do you think?
I mean, one thing I'm liking about a lot of the newer pairs that we're receiving is that you can use them in in various ways. We have a feature where you can have multiple sync grid setups for the same sync pair,
Yeah.
and you can switch on and off, depending on the situation. And like more and more of the newer units have that, where it's like, okay, I want to use Skyla as just a sync nuke, so then I'll switch my sync grid to that.
Hmm.
Or it's like, oh no, I'm gonna use Skyla more to just flinch and confuse the component as much as possible while setting a flying zone for like a blue or someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And like I said, she can be used in multiple ways as a tank or, as a team's main sync DPS. I mean, she's got a lot of good teammates. For example, Suit Elisa, who can help her boost her crit or boost her special attack as well. And obviously they're going to share some themes together, so you're going to boost both their attacks and stats. You can use her with like Anniversary End, for example, where Skyla can debuff people's special attack and attack for N, and N can debuff their special defense at the same time. But then at the same time, I think the most things people use her for is flying teams. So with your blues, for example, I know you've got 6-star EX blue, haven't you? At the moment?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I do, because like I said, to me, I have a special place for all the Kanto trainers,
Yeah.
especially the red and blue. Anytime they're available, I've pulled on them and have
Yeah.
EX them as I posted in their Discord.
So yeah, for example, like she's gonna make blue so much better because of Flying Wish, and she can sustain blue with mini potion as well. So that's gonna be cool. Do you know what unit I'm gonna use her with, Becca? The one that you always call me out for.
Oh, I was just about to mention Rosanta.
Yeah, Rosanta. Yeah. Because actually, they share some themes together, so they're gonna boost each other. And actually, I'm gonna put her with Steven because Steven's regular damage is like some of the highest regular damage, for a flying type in the game by itself.
Yeah, I heard that.
So like, Steven's going to be doing the regular damage. I'm going to be syncing with Skyla, and Rosanta's just going to be buffing their stats. So and applying move gauge acceleration. So you're never going to really run out of move gauges. So that's going to be the team I use. But yeah,
it's funny. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, go for it.
I don't know. It's just like one thing that I love and hate about being a guest on this show.
Yeah.
Is that it's like when we break down some of these characters and there's the sync pairs and stuff, it makes me want to pull on them, even though I hadn't planned on pulling on them.
What was the one we did last time? And I think you had no intention of pulling for it, and then afterwards you're like, no, I need her.
Oh no, I don't even remember. But that's literally what happened. It's like we had talked about it.
It was Diantha with Keldeo. Where I think
oh yeah, because and now I'm like, now I sit there and I use her all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it's like, oh, I got Bay. I have Bay. I don't need anybody else. And then you're like, no, actually, it's just way better. And I was like, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love how much she can debuff the opponent and buff herself. It's just so good. And like, I use them together now, and you probably do with Cobalion, don't you?
Yes, I love Cobalion. Yeah, because me personally, the reason why I love Cobalion is because it's an actually strong sync pair of your avatar's own sync pair. So it's like, hey, I'm actually, fighting with everybody.
I'm doing something. I'm helping. Yeah. So yeah, talking about pulling, for example. So I personally recommend her, and why I would recommend her is just because of Flying Zone. She really unique pair. No one else is Flying Zone at the moment. She's going to help so much with flying units. So I'd highly recommend pulling for her if you've got the gems to do so. Saying that, a reminder, we've got till the end of the month. So let's wait, let's see what's coming up, and then you make your decision at the end of the month. You don't need to get it right now, but I'd recommend her personally because of the Flying Zone.
I don't know. I'm gonna just pull right now on stream and see what
Don't do it. Mecca, resist. So Mecca, we've got one more sync pair to talk about, and that is the mighty Raihan. Raihan. There we go. So yeah, talk to me.
Wait, so is it Raihan or is it Raihan? What is the actual
Raihan.
pronunciation?
Raihan.
Raihan. Okay.
Yeah.
You got Raihan.
Because
We got
it's
Twister.
it's an
Oh, sorry.
Arabic name. It is.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Twister, Dragon type, has a chance 20% of making the target flinch. That's all opponents. Cost of 2. We got Fire Spin, which is fire. Leaves a target trapped. It's only one opponent. Cost of 2. You have Sandstorm, which is rock, causes a sandstorm to the entire field. Uses 2, cost of 2. The trainer move is Can't Be Tamed, raises the user's special attack by 4 stat rank, raises the user's critical hit rate by 2 stat ranks, applies a super effective up next effect to all allied sync pairs when weather conditions are in effect. That's one use, target is self. We got max moves. So, like I said, that was introduced with our Galar sync pairs. And we actually have 3 of them this time, which I think might be the first. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't think of, because Signet Suit Steven's got not Steven, sorry, Leon has just got one.
And
I
then
think Signet Suit,
Snorlax and Red has 2.
yes, and classic Elisa's got, I think, one with electric actually. So yeah, I think you're right. First pair with 3 Dynamax moves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
Televi.
they are
Actually, no. I just remembered one. Alistair's got 3. Max Knuckle,
oh,
and yeah, he's got his G-Max Gengar move, and also he's got Max Poison. Yeah,
well,
no,
there you
yeah, he has 2. But yeah, talk to me.
okay. Yeah, so we had 3 max moves. They're all different type of max moves, which is pretty interesting. We have Max Wormwind, which is Dragon, lowers the attack of all opposing sync pairs by 2 stat rank. Target is one opponent. We have Max Guard, which is normal type, applies the damage guard next effect to an ally, and the target's only one ally. And then Max Flare, which I've been using a lot, type Fire, makes the weather sunny, and obviously the target's an opponent.
Yeah.
Um, we got Sync Move, Desert Spirit Dragon Beams, Dragon type. This move's power increases when weather conditions are in effect. That's for one opponent. And then we'll go to the passive skills. We have Weather Buff. Users attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed increase 30% when weather conditions are in effect. We have Atmospheric Acceleration 2. Quickly charges the move gauge when the weather conditions are in effect. And Team Strengthening Status 9 increases the physical move up next effect and the special moves up next effect of all allied sync pairs by 1 rank when the user's Pokemon uses a status move.
So basically, Rayhan is the tech pair, where he is very much, doing all sorts of funky things like setting up weather, leaving opponents trapped, trying to flinch them. He's there to make things difficult. He's there to confuse people. Like, no one knows what he's gonna do. Yeah, I quite like his kit in the fact that it all like synergizes off him using weather, and like playing Sword and Shield. Like, if you know anything about him, like he's one of the gym leaders that I've enjoyed facing the most, because he took me off by guard, because I didn't expect him to obviously, 1, be doubles, but 2, actually use weather effects for his teams. So I quite like him in that aspect, and his sync pair in the game actually reflects that. So yeah, notes I've got about him. So physical move up and special move up. Basically, they add 40% to any sync pair's damage, which is really, really good. And it's easily obtainable by you just spamming Sandstorm. You can also stack them up to 400% if you want to do. That's a bit difficult, but you can do that if you want to. That's really fun to use. It gives super effective up with its trainer move after you use like something like Sandstorm, or if you use Sunny Day, or Set Up Sun, sorry, with the max move. That's really good, because there's I'll come into it later when we talk about team composition actually. Great speed, basically because of his passives, so atmospheric acceleration, and weather buff as well, increasing your stats. So he's basically about 400 attack, about 400 special attack, 400 speed, around there. That's really good. And yeah, great flinch chances when you dip into his grid. But the only negative about him is, his DPS is not good at all. So something you can share with Skyla. In terms of his sync, he's basically top 5 in the game. He's only behind Champion Iris, who's like number 1 in the game when it comes to sync damage. And in terms of his max moves, well, they can do, so much damage akin to like another unit's sync move. So yeah, no, he does a lot of damage with his sync and max moves. Let's talk about his grids. Now, his grids are like really interesting because, for sync nuking, it's quite easy. Just set up weather and click the button. Fire spin will give you trapped status for interference sync 5. And yeah, if you want to use him for sun, you can use solar sync. So he not only does, mass amounts of sync damage, he can actually set up the sun at the same time. Mind Boggler 9, lowers target special defense by 1 stat rank whenever the user uses an attack move whilst the opponent's, flinched or trapped. So you're always going to have that with Fire Spin and Twister. So that's pretty good at 3 out of 5. You can also just, set him up for Max Wormwind instead. So that does more damage. And, sync moves, Weather Up and Interference sync 5. So that's really good. So yeah, no, in terms of like 3 out of 5, there's so much going for him, whether or not you use Solar Sync or if you use Max Wormwind, there's so many ways you can take him. You can also get rid of all that, and if you want to make him more of a support, you can go down the route of Sand Alert 5, so keep Sandstorm up longer, Sandstorm MP refresh, so you can keep spamming Sandstorm if you want to. Also, you've got Twister Aggravation 2, so basically I think gives you like a 60% chance of flinching the opponent. But if there's multiple opponents in the field, that goes down to 30%, but still pretty good. But yeah, Mecha, what do you think?
To be honest, I already pulled and,
Nice.
and got EX and everything. So like I said, I love him. I love the character as a whole, but it's kind of like how you said in the Pokemon Shield games, because like I said, those are one of the few new games that I actually played. It was a very big surprise when it was doubles, when it felt like an Elite Four type battle.
Yeah,
even
totally.
though it was technically just
100%.
one of the gym trainers.
Yeah.
It felt different. So like, having this pair here, like I said, it's something that can be used for a lot of different things. Just like I said, with all these new pairs, you can use these pairs for more than one thing. You can do it for just damage. You can do it for just disrupting the opponent. You can do it for just the weather settings, which I've been doing for my Signet Suit. Well, not Signet Suit Red, just the
No, it is.
yeah, it is Signet Suit Red. Signet Suit Red pairing that I have. Just set up Sun, and then and now I can use the flinch. It's very versatile sync pair to use, and it really is a techie.
Yeah, at 1 out of 5, you're getting move gauge refresh on Fire Spin, which is fine. Twister move gauge refresh, which I think is the one that you go for. Well, you're going to get both anyway, but you're going to be spamming that most of the time, if not spamming Sandstorm. Sand Shelter, obviously, so you don't take damage from it. That's all right. 2 out of 5, you get a lot more. You definitely want to go for something like Mind Boggler and MP refresh on Sandstorm. Slippery Kicks is situational, but that gives you evasion, so sometimes you don't get hit. That's quite nice. You get Twister move gauge refresh 3 and aggravation, so actually those two you want to go for to stop the opponent attacking, especially for something like legendary Gauntlet or Champion Stadium. And the other one I'd probably go for in 2 out of 5 is Sharp Entry 1, where you can max out your own crit rate on Raihan, or also other zinc pairs. So yeah, pretty cool. So add +1 crit rate for other zinc pairs, sorry. So yeah, 2 out of 5 is actually pretty alright, actually. But yeah, no, 1 out of 5 is totally fine. Because what I'm going to say is, you don't need to pull for this unit. It's more of a luxury pair. Unless you're going for like 3 out of 5, you can probably skip it, because if you've got Champion's Iris, for example, or you've got like Signet Suit Leon as a damage dealer for Dragon pairs, you can probably skip it. But if you've got enough gems and he's one of your favorites, I'd pull for him. And the reason why I pull for him is because one of the teams that I love to use, and I know you love to use Mecha, is Signa Suit Red. And basically, Raihan makes it that Signa Suit Red can now have super effective up on himself, which he previously couldn't have, because only Classic Red can give that to sync pairs, and you can't put Classic Red with Signa Suit Red. So he basically takes Signa Suit Red's damage to a whole new level. And especially, with his passive of, giving special move up next and physical move up next, Red can take advantage of that and do even more damage with his regular moves too. And in terms of, gauge, he can make sure that you're not running out of move gauges to use things like blast burns constantly. Whereas Blaine, couldn't really sustain that. Blaine only, gave you some, and that's pretty much it. So no, Raihan's really good for like weather teams. Zinnia and Rayquaza, for example, is going to benefit. Your sand teams are now going to benefit from it, like Olivia and Cynthia. So yeah, he's really good in terms of weather teams. But 3 out of 5 is where he can do his own sync nuke and whatever. So yeah, for me, I'd say don't pull unless you've got the gems to pull for him. But he is going to make a lot of teams a lot more fun for you. And again, as a reminder, you've got to the end of the month, so take your time, see what else is out there, and if you want to pull from then. But for newer players, I'd say hold off on it, because there's other sync pairs I think that you need to build up first before you come to Raihan to enhance them. So yeah, that's where I'm going to go with that one. Anything else on Raihan, Mecha, before we move on?
He's super cool.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
I am hoping that I can get him at some point, but I'm going to wait till the end of the month to see what else is going to come in the future. And obviously, I'm happy to talk about data mines, but this is not one data mine that has been officially released by DNA, so the data's not in the game yet, but it's been out there at the moment. So I'm not going to say too much. Other than that, we're expecting a Master Fair unit in about 10 days. So there's that consideration before you pull on your on these characters. Yeah, I'm just giving you a heads up there, people. So yeah,
who do you think?
I don't want to say because it's so painfully obvious.
Oh yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the upcoming event that's happening. So yeah, 10 days we're going to get a Master Fair unit. I'm not going to talk too much about it at the moment because the date is not officially in the game yet. But yeah, let's talk about the 2.5 newsletter. And first things first, Victory Road was implemented, and this is like a good resource to teach players how to use their sync pairs a lot better. More about special attack boosts and attack boosts, and special defense and defense boosts. When to use them, how to use them, and how like teams can synergize with each other. Mecha, what do you think about the Victory Road?
For what I think is twofold. I believe that this is something that should have been implemented a while ago. We're 2.5 years into the game, but when it comes to high level play, there's not as much. Like, this information could have been useful a while ago, maybe as soon as Champion Stadium started.
Yeah, you can get by because the story mode. Like, you can get by that quite easily and just use one move and that's it. Get through it like that. But like for like you said, Champion Stadium, for example, yeah, this is really good for that.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like I feel like this would be this should, like I said, when Champion Stadium first came out, I believe this should have been out at the same time, because a lot of the strategies that are in this I had to learn either from you or Amit back in the day, or when you guys were doing like a lot of the streams together, like when you guys had that one PokeRamble episode that was just like team setups and comps and everything like that.
Yeah, I'll put that
or
in the
like other
description.
YouTube videos that I've watched. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I love that it's here. It sucks for users like us who already know all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm happy that it's there for people who are just like you said, your friend is just coming into it. He has a full thing that, one, it gives you a whole bunch of gems, which is great.
Yeah.
But also teaches you. It literally is like the end game tutorial of what to do. And
Yeah,
I think it's awesome that they have it, and it's actually like fun because it's like, hey, you're actually facing all the champions of all the different games, and they're
it's
actually
so
like,
cool, isn't it?
you know,
Yeah.
and Sigma Suit Blue is actually like helping you, which is something that you would never see in the original games, you know. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I love the music for it. Like the music could be like Gen 9's Victory Road music, and I wouldn't even be mad because it's that good. Like, how do you have such good music for a tutorial? It doesn't make any sense. I can't commend them enough for
I
the music
mean,
in this game.
literally the music for this game reminds me of this TikTok where it's like a music producer. I don't know if you've seen this. It's like a music producer comes to the room. It's like, hey, I need some type of low key song for um Sonic Adventure level, and then the guy just does like the crazy amazing Sonic Adventure level music that just blows everybody away.
Yeah, I have not seen it, but send it to me after the show. That'd be cool to watch.
I will.
Yeah,
It's an hilarious TikTok, but more or less it's like the PokeRamble. I mean, the Pokemon Masters people music department did not have to go as hard as they do, but they continue to
yeah,
do it, and
yeah.
they've been doing it for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's incredible. Long may it continue. And like the other thing with Victory Road is by the end of it, you're rewarded with a free sync pair of either blue, red, or leaf. And um,
Exactly.
yeah, like sorry, Sigma Suit as well. Like, and these are like still some of the best pairs in the game. You know that they still stand. You know, either toe to toe or like knee to knee with some of the sync pairs that we've gotten since then. But like, for example, if you're gonna pick one of these and you haven't got any of them, I'd have to say blue because as a tank, blue's
Hmm.
like still one of the best tanks in the game. And the sooner you get blue to 3 out of 5, the better. But if you've got blue at 3 out of 5, then get red, I'd say, and like after red, then get leaf. But that's where I'd go with picking your units in that case. Um, what else have we got? So yeah, also in the 2.5 update, they've added 2 new paid bundles, which is like the champions bundle, and you've got the what should I call it? The story bundle. So you get more free gems like that way, but you also get like about 31,000 paid gems as well for about £40. So if you've played for a long time, you want to support the game, then this bundle is probably the best bundle we've had in terms of getting paid gems and normal gems. It works out, for example, at £1 per 600-ish paid gems, which is crazy. So you got 2 new paid bundles there. They've put that they've added improvements to the UI, but actually I don't really think it looks that good because it takes up more of the screen when you're queuing up moves. So what they've
Hmm.
done is they've made it more easier for you to see what is a special move and what a physical move is, but you could already see that if you hold
Yeah.
down the move. So this is more for like I think beginner players who are still kind of learning,
Yeah.
what move is special, what move is physical, without them having to click into the move itself to learn about it. I hope in future they've got like a toggle where you can switch between it showing all that information there and then you getting rid of that information. Because for someone like me who like when we do these analysis for sync pairs, we can see straight away whether or not this is a physical move or if this is a special move. I don't really need that information once I'm into a battle. So I guess it's good for newer players, but it looks a bit messy at the moment. So I hope they either make it look a lot more cleaner and make it take up less space, or they give us a toggle to remove it. So yeah. We've got new battles, so we've got new battles and old battles that we've had in the past at the moment with these throwback challenges, and like some of them have been quite difficult. Mecha, I've managed to beat all of them
Yes, they
without.
have.
Yeah, I've managed to beat all of them without having to use the sort of like units that would make them very easy, like the Anniversary May, Skyla and Raihan, for example. But yeah, which one did you find most difficult out of the 3?
I believe it was the dragon one,
Hmm.
the one with Lance, because as like you said, they're very unique in terms of that one, especially where you need to make sure that there's some type of weather condition going on.
Yeah, make sure they're
Because
trapped or something.
yeah, exactly. So like having to learn that, I was originally trying to use like Blaine, but my Blaine was still 4-star, so I wasn't able to survive long
Well, to
enough
be fair, like
to
I think any non sort of dragon unit's gonna die quite quickly. Because I think dragon units had a
Mhm.
times 5 times stat buff. So yeah, no,
Yep.
not surprising. Not surprising. But you eventually did it, did you?
So that's one of the that's one of the reasons why I picked up Raihan,
Oh, they got you.
because I was like, one, yeah, well, yes and no, because it's like I kind of, once you told me about what the best way to use it for Signal Suit Red,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that might be a pair that I'll pull on after we, this data mine again.
Mm,
Just because I love his character, and then I would love to make my Signal Suit Red even stronger.
mm.
But then when I was having issues there, I was like, oh, this is a perfect pair for this. I'm gonna most likely pull on this anyway. Let me just pull on it now.
Yeah, and you got it quite early, didn't you?
Hmm.
Nice,
I
nice.
got it with 12K gems, so I lucked out.
That
My
that
luck is coming back in the game again.
don't push it too much. You know what happens when you push your luck too
I'm
much.
trying not
Yeah.
to. I'm not. Yeah. That's I had to use all my gems to get one pair, and it was very
Remember,
upsetting.
at the end of the month, we're gonna get another data mine, and these banners are still here. So
That's why.
let's wait.
That's why I'm waiting. That's why I'm waiting.
um, and
And but then if I post in the Discord later about my Skyla, well, you won't know whose fault it is.
Oh man, remember half of this episode is you, so half the blame is going to be with you. But anyway, another thing from the
True.
2.5 newsletter is that we're going to have a mini event with male trainers. So we're going to have like a scout on the 14th with male trainers, such as Steven, Lance, and I forgot who the third one's going to be, but he's going to be there. And so basically, this is basically White Day without saying it's White Day. So White Day, if you don't know, in Japan, where on Valentine's Day the girls give guys chocolate, on White Day the guys give girls chocolate in return to say thank you. So Pokemon Masters are implementing this in a little mini event with male trainers, which is really cool. It's nice. We're going to get a new egg event and a new psychic gear type event. So that's going to be really good for people to be able to make their sync pairs even stronger and more sync pairs in terms of the Eggmons. And then finally, we've got a secondary legendary gauntlet coming. So oh boy, start farming for those new cookies and old cookies. In fact, it's a good time to get those old cookies as well. So yeah, we've got another legendary gauntlet coming up. Mecca, quickly, what do you think of the first legendary gauntlet? I mean, for me, like,
I thought it was. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's like for me, it was like, hard but enjoyable. And eventually having to start, grinding for like more cookies and stuff like that. Took up a lot of time, but it was a lot of fun, testing out different units and seeing how they would synergize and, stressful but fun, I'd say.
Well, for me, what I liked is this is true end game content
Mm,
that new players could still take part in, which is
mm,
very hard to accomplish,
mm,
because it's like enough new players should have been able to at least clear this once to at least get some of the cookies.
yeah.
And then for the end game players, it was like, okay, how many times can I run through this? I think I got up to like maybe 13, which
Mm,
isn't a lot, but it's a lot more than I thought I'd be able to accomplish.
yeah.
And then I just started farming for the cookies,
Yeah.
resetting over and over again. But
Mm,
like it was a really interesting thing, because it's like, okay, I might have certain sync pairs that I use all the time, especially when it comes to like a champion stadium. But this really had you thinking outside the box. It was like, all right, cool. And you have a X amount of water strikers that you have in your teams. What can you do, or what pairs can you put with this water striker in order to make sure you can get through this actual pair multiple times?
mm,
So you weren't just relying on your same teams over and over again. Like I was using a bunch of my Eggmons and actually raising some of them up. I was actually, um, you know, powering up some support units that I don't normally use, because they're actually super useful in this one specific event, which is pretty cool.
mm.
It's more or less just made you think about all your pairs as a whole,
Yeah, I
and
think it
just
improves you
seeing,
as a player,
okay,
doesn't it? Because you start to learn about different tactics and different ways to use sync pairs.
exactly. And it's something that, like, as a new player, you don't have to necessarily worry about, but if you're trying to hit a big streak, it's like, all right, I can't just use Signasu Red for this fire thing. I'm gonna have to use a weaker fire pair, but maybe a stronger support or a stronger tech unit in order to make sure that my Ethan is a lot stronger, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and whilst I try to, especially for the first 12 battles, I try to make sure I've got a team of 3 that can clear it all the way through. You're not forced to, clear it with just one team. You can use multiple teams if you're like kind of like in the latter stages and be like, okay, I'll use these 3 to debuff the opponent, and then I'll use my next 3 to try and defeat that opponent. It's quite nice in that aspect, and also yeah, makes it more friendlier for newer players. That might be struggling to take out a boss just with 3 units. They can use multiple instead.
Like I said, I think it's pretty much a really good event for everybody. But like I said, it is geared towards more end game users,
Yeah,
which, like I said, it's very hard to pull off a balancing act with an event that new players can still actually get some rewards out of, that end game users can actually dig, like more or less dig deep into their actual pairs pool and just see what they can come up with
yeah.
using some of those Eggmons that most people would never use.
Mm.
Um, and then more or less just seeing what kind of crazy teams you can come up with. It's like, okay, I really need this one pair just to use wrap or just to use like a trapping move,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's just so I can do some damage on this thing and get me to the next, round of pairs again.
Mm. Yeah. And just moving on from Legend Gauntlet, they've said that there's going to be another letter in late March about the April sync pairs, where we're probably going to see what the next Easter sync pairs are going to be, which is going to be pretty cool. There's going to be more events and much more. And they said, actually, they're working on another big update, to focus on connecting and interacting with trainers that you already have. And I'm really excited for that, because my favorite part of Passio is, the interactions you get with, trainers that you know and love, and how they interact with each other. So that's really awesome. And they said that's going to be ready for the 3-year anniversary, or they want to have it ready for the 3-year anniversary.
Hey, I'm always down for more story content. I'm always down for my avatar interacting with everybody, which is
Mm.
why this is, like I said this before, this is one of my favorite Pokemon games, which is very interesting to say for, like, especially a mobile game that's not part of the main generation. But it's like, I really love this game because, and not everybody feels this way. It's like you feel like you're part of it. You're not just one of the characters that's in it. You're like, hey, everyone comes to you. You're actually helping people out. Some now that we're getting actual avatar pairs that you can be, it's very useful in battles. So you feel like you're actually part of the battle. It's really fun. It's really
Mm.
good that they continue. Think about it. We're gonna hit 3 years soon, and they're still giving us great content. There's a lot of games out there on Xbox One, on PS5, that are these games as a service games that have died after a year or
Mm.
6 months even, and we're about to hit 3 years and we're still going. We have a whole story that's still developing with the villain arc,
Yeah, yeah.
that it's still going, that we're still,
Mm.
it's good to see. It's awesome to see that kind of commitment the developers have made, and that the fact that we're still going strong, we're still getting new stuff all the time.
Agreed. Agreed. And just last thing, we're getting the strange specimen event starting tomorrow, featuring Sycamore, so that's going to be fun. And also, I think the Unova Champion Stadium is going to be back, so we're moving from Alola back to Unova again, so that's going to be fun to see what surprises they might spring. But that's it for me in terms of Pokemon Masters. Any last thoughts, Mecha, or should we move on?
No, I think we've more or less sprinkled in our thoughts about
Yeah.
everything, the pairs, the anniversary event, the new updates. It's like I said, I continue to say this, and the next time you have me on, I'm probably going to say it again. this is the best time to get into Pokemon Masters.
That's like your little tagline now.
Because anytime anyone tells me about Pokemon stuff, it's like, have you tried Pokemon Masters? And they're like, oh no, I've never heard of it. It's like, oh, I tried it, but it was kind of weird. And I was like,
yeah,
get back into it. It's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
And you get so
it's
much free
changed
stuff.
so much from the beginning of the game to now. It's yeah, they've come leaps and bounds since then. And you know,
very more user friendly.
I hear people say like it's a dumbed down Pokemon battling game, but really, when you play some of these battles, there's actually sometimes they can give you more of a challenge. So yeah, let's get away from that narrative that it's a dumbed down Pokemon battling game, because it's a lot more than that. Yeah, no, we shall move on to the next section. This is merch to do about nothing, where we talk about Pokemon merchandise. And well, here I have for you a Psyduck teapot. Yes, it's like the spray duck from Gen 4, but in real life. Now, this is going to cost you about 10,000 yen, and you can only get in Japan currently. I believe these are handcrafted as well. So yeah, you can only get this from Japan. As soon as there's some sort of international link or something like that, I'll let you know. I'll put it in the description. But for now, it's Japan only. But yeah, it looks really cool because it's reminds me of the Gen 4 item you had to use. So yeah, that's it really. A teapot with a Psyduck on it. That's it. We will move on to the next section.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Where the Helioptile is Pokemon Sync. Too much Pokemon Masters. Sorry, where the Helioptile is Pokemon Sleep. Yet another week goes by and we don't have Pokemon Sleep. And I thought, where can I go for clues? And where I stumbled up on the Gen 9 starter, Fuecoco. So, I have a theory that Pokemon Sleep is coming this generation, Generation 9. And I think the Pokemon Company wanted to tell us, but couldn't officially tell us, so they told us by way of a hint via Fuecoco. So, Fuecoco's flavor text on the website is, Fuecoco is a laid-back fire croc Pokemon that does things at its own pace, you know. And when I think about laid-back, I think about sleep. And when I think about sleep, I think about Pokemon Sleep. So I have a theory.
Okay, I thought this was a real theory, not like one of your.
I have a theory that at some point in Gen 9, we will finally get Pokemon Sleep. And Pokemon Sleep will come with a free Fuecoco. What do you think? Do you think I wanted something there?
Well, I was hoping that this was a real theory and not one.
How dare you? How dare
no,
you, sir?
I was sitting there like, oh man, I missed something that's part of. So let's take a step back. When this new Pokemon Direct was announced, I was really hoping that we were going to get some Pokemon Sleep news. So I figured now's the time. You know, we just got Arceus is out. They probably want to talk about something a little bit different. I was really hoping that this was going to be the one. And then when I saw that it wasn't, I was very sad. And then now that you're saying about this theory, I was like, oh, wow, maybe there was something that was in there, but it's not. I think at this point, we're going to end the segment. It's never coming out. It's done.
Till next week when I've got a new theory for you all.
Exactly.
In the absence of news, I will find Pokemon Sleep. Don't you worry about it. We'll move on to the next section. It's the unknown fact of the week with Mecha Shadow 12, aka Andrew. Yeah, so unknown fact of the week. And this week, a nice little unknown fact by way of MX Tony 4869, who you can find on Reddit, who always posts obscure facts about Pokemon. This week he says Generation 2 has 251 Pokemon and 251 moves, making it the only generation with an equal number of Pokemon and moves. Pretty nice symmetry is all I'll say for that. And I guess that's Is there anything, Mecha, you want to add on that?
I do. I actually have my own unknown fact of the week related to the episode. No,
go for it.
No, that's the whole point. I like to just throw things in here.
I forgot the Mecha surprise. Go on, hit me.
So it is actually It's actually Psyduck related.
Okay.
So it actually works out well. So Psyduck, along with Golduck, has appeared in every regional Pokédex.
Wow. And you know why that is, right, Mecha? I'll give you a reason why.
What's the reason?
As we said earlier in the episode, the director, Masuda, Junichi Masuda, his favorite Pokemon is Psyduck.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So actually, no, 2 + 2 is 4. Damn, I never realized that. That was good. Hang on, let me just get the Psyduck image up. So
Okay.
you know we can make it a double unknown fact of the week. Okay, he's hidden behind. There we go. Psyduck's there. Cool. So yeah, that's been another episode of the PokeRamble Podcast. I might do a late episode because of what's happening in Pokemon Masters, so you might get this next episode on a Thursday or a Friday. So episode 55 might come out a bit late. But yeah, that's been the PokeRamble Podcast. I've been Kamal. You can find me on the PokeRamble.com, PokeRamble.com without the. And Mecha Shadow 12, where can people find you?
You can find me on twitter.com/MechaShadow12. Like I said, I just post about random things, but if you ever want to talk Pokemon Masters, I have some knowledge in there, as you can tell. But yeah, more or less, just reach out and say hi. I'm always down to make new friends.
And Mecha Shadow's on the Discord, and if you want a link to the Discord, just shoot us a message or put a comment down in the description. And thank you as always. Got to catch them all? Question mark? Is that trademarked? I don't know. We'll end the episode here.
Probably
Bye.
is. Bye.